Hi, and welcome to Kristin's Corner. I'm Kristin Huffman, and this is a show where I interview entertainment industry professionals and we discuss trends and changes in the business so that we can all be better prepared. I have a focus right now on educators in the arts industry. So today I welcome Dean Dale Merrill, who is the Dean and Professor of Dance at the Hartt School at the University of Hartford, which is where I teach as well. And prior to joining Hartt, he was the Dean of the College of Arts at Cal State Fullerton. And prior to that, he created a highly competitive dance department and was instrumental in forming the College of Performing Arts at Chapman University, where he also served as dean. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Happy to be here. Thanks for asking me.
You're welcome. There's just so much I want to ask you about, so I'm going to dive right in.
Okay.
You have over 25 years of choreographic and teaching credits. It includes numerous original works, musical theater productions, and a public television special. As teachers, we talk about the challenges of last year, but what were some of your accomplishments of this last really challenging year?
Good question. I think it was amazing to watch people pivot. I was familiar with dance on film, but that wasn't my big go-to as a choreographer. And so I really kind of leaned into that whole aspect. And I think that with students, I see that that's going to be a really great tool in their resource, box in their toolkit, is how you do this whole online thing, how you connect.
Well, the Hartt School is known for helping students reach their goals, and you have been on the job for how long now?
8 weeks here at the Hartt School.
That's awesome. We're so glad to have you. What are some of the themes of your own style of leadership, if you will, that you hope will help students to handle a career in the arts with all these changes that are happening in the industry?
Change is constant in our life. And especially in the arts are always evolving, always changing. When I went to school, what my professors taught me, they had no idea what I was going to be doing, but they gave me the foundation, the underpinnings to help me get ahead. And I think that that's what the Hartt School faculty is doing. Many of the things that we're exploring won't really come to fruition, maybe for gosh, who knows, maybe 10 years, especially now. For some reason, young people today just want that checklist. They want that list. If I do A, B, C, I'm going to get this job. And we know that life is not linear like that, that there's no straight path. It's very crooked with lots of detours. And so understanding who you are and where your fit is really key. In the LA area, you have to know what your package is. What is it that you're selling? Like what are you? And you have to really know that, and then to try to find the right company, the right part, the right vehicle, and then explore that and lean into that, go in that direction. I think especially when you first start out, the hardest thing is getting your first job, right? And we used to say it takes about 50 auditions before you might land your first gig, or your first, maybe your first commercial job, or your first part. About 50 auditions. You also have to keep listening and learning.
There may be some people out there, although I think the Hartt School is very well known, but there might be some people who are watching this who aren't sure, is the Hartt School just a performing arts? Is it, but there are a lot of divisions. Do you want to talk about some of the other divisions that are there?
There are so many great schools out there and so many great training programs. And that's also trying to find the fit of where you as a student connect. Do you connect with a teacher? So you should always go to a school, go to that school for a day. Most schools have a, tryout for, be a hawk, at the University of Hartford. See what it's like to study, have a voice lesson, have an acting class, take a dance class with a professor, and see how it fits in. So what's unique about the Hartt School is our partnership with the University of Hartford. So we are a conservatory that's 100 years old. So we have an excellent conservatory music program, but we also have a conservatory acting and musical theater program and dance program. And the dance program was started by the Hartford Ballet and has a long history of conservatory ballet technical training, augmented with, of course, Graham technique. So very traditional classic dance, training. And so my advice would be is take the time, do your homework. Are you interested in a BA program or a BFA program? Understanding the difference between a private school, which is going to give you a little more flexibility than a state comprehensive school. Do your homework.
Right.
See where that fit is for you.
And when they come to the Hartt School, you're allowed to try a lot of different things. And I think that's appealing as well. In this day and age where we want them to have a very well-rounded portfolio when they get out so they can do a lot of different things.
Right, exactly. Because you never know. When I started, I was actually a music major and then switched to be a theater major and then ended up getting a degree. My undergraduate degree was in ballet. And I performed with a ballet company and then realized that was not quite the thing. I wanted to explore other things. And now all of a sudden I'm a dean.
But, something I was really excited to ask you about is that you were also one of the founding members and the artistic director of Spectrum Dance Theater in Seattle. And as I understand it, under your direction, Spectrum grew from being a community dance company to a repertory company of national prominence. You won a bunch of awards, and they now perform throughout the United States and Europe.
I had a career as a professional dancer, and I performed with this company as well, and then became the director and the artistic director of this company. And again, Kristin, it goes back to that question of fit. So I liked dancing ballet, but I didn't quite fit into a ballet company. I didn't like the hierarchy and the politics of it all, and also the especially at that time, the lack of diversity in the ballet company. And so instead of saying, well, I don't fit anywhere, I created with a group of people our own company.
That's great.
And I would encourage people to do that. If you don't feel like you fit in, create your own thing. Create your own thing. I loved every minute of it, and it helped prepare me, I think, to be a leader in especially a school like the Hartt School, because that company in Seattle had a big community division. So the Hartt School has a big community dance division and music division and theater division where we help young people in the community.
I would love to know what you see as kind of upcoming trends. You hit on diversity, which I think is super important, but that we should sort of watch for in arts organizations. And I think that, of course, is going to bleed more even into our schools.
So when I started as a choreographer, as a director, everything was very in a box. If you did your ballet piece, you used just ballet steps, and if you did your jazz piece, you used your jazz vocabulary. Now we're seeing these really cool devised theater pieces where is it dance or is it theater or is it music, and young artists are pulling from whatever vocabulary that they want that suits them to tell the story that they want to tell. Now I think artists have to be willing to take risks. They have to be willing to try things. I know, like in the dance field as a choreographer, it's so much more physical than it used to be. You ask dancers, do you think you can crash down to the floor and flip over this way and turn around? And they say, yeah, let's try it. A really great example is, Hamilton. When you watch that piece, you see this, you can tell that there was this incredible collaboration between every aspect. So the dance doesn't overshadow it, the acting, the music, the scenic elements, the lighting, it all is so integrated. So that sense of knowing how to work with other people, how to collaborate, I think that's the future. And the more you can do as a student to have those experiences, the more ready you'll be for the professional world.
And to kind of riff off of what you were saying and bring back in the video discussion, I think because there are so many in pop culture, So You Think You Can Dance, Dancing with the Stars, and then there's The Voice and the, and they're watching those things. And a lot of those, I do like Dancing with the Stars. It is my guilty pleasure. I'm sure that Len Goodman, who's like the older guy on the panel, he's had to kind of go, okay, well, maybe that's the direction some of this is going. But I think it's smart for a university to not just go, well, we're not watching TV and we're not going to pull that in. Well, that's, kids are coming in with that experience, you know?
Right, exactly.
What is one of the things that you would suggest students should do when they graduate from Hartt and they step out the door? What would you say one of the first things they should do is?
One of the things that everybody needs to do is develop connection. And the way you do that is consistency. So you show up to those acting workshop classes, you show up to that dance class, you show up to those auditions time and time and time again, because they will see you. They'll see you time and time again. And about the 30th time that you show up in that room, they'll say, you know what, this kid has worked really hard.
Yep.
Let's give them a break. Because, you know, the person we always hire, they're busy doing another job that day. So we're going to give this kid a chance. And that's, you've tamed that person to see you and to see your personal growth. So being consistent, sticking to your plan, evaluating, and develop a support network. You know, so stay in touch with your former teachers and professors.
I think sometimes they don't realize we feel very invested in them. And if we can make a bridge or make an introduction, we love doing that. Plus, it also looks good on the Hartt School, you know, just saying there's all sorts of reasons to do it, right?
Exactly.
Is there anything you would have done differently in your career? I know you can't really look back, but is there anything you would have done differently?
Yes. For some reason, I don't know why, but for some reason, I had to have a mustache. I had to have a mustache, and I would not shave that thing off. And people would say, and dancers didn't have facial hair.
I was gonna say, I was about to say that.
Yeah, it's not really a big thing. And people would say, well, I'll cast you, but you'll have to shave your mustache. And I'd say, I'm not going to. And I thought, wow. And I look back now and I go, wow, what a cocky little, you know. So my advice would be, in looking back, I wish I had played the game more. It's just a mustache, you know. You can grow it back, you can shave it off. So it's kind of like knowing what your goal is, like where you want to be, and then thinking about that. So that mustache, I look back at that mustache story and I go, what was I thinking?
What are some of your big ideas, your goals for 2022? What are you looking forward to this year?
Well, you know, one of the saddest days in my life was probably March 16th, 2020, when the whole world, I woke up, I was on a trip, and I woke up and all of a sudden the NBA had shut down the season. No more basketball. And I thought, you know what? If they're closing down professional basketball, every arts organization in this is going to close. And so the big goal for 2022 is reopening. And it sounds harder than it really is, but getting our audiences to come back, presenting works that people are interested in. A lot has happened, you know, in this country in the last year, not only, you know, the pandemic, but all of the social unrest, and dealing with all of that and coming up with material that is going to be resonant to audiences, I think is important. So that's kind of my big goal. Just reopening is a big task.
You know, it's interesting because I think it sort of gave us all a reboot. Not that we would have ever wished for this, but it really made everybody sort of sit and think longer, because what else could you do? You're stuck at home. And, you know, I think there is going to be some good things that come out of all this. I think it makes you value it more too.
Yes. Well, and lots of people said, oh, the performing arts, they probably will never come back. And I was like, oh, don't be silly. Of course, people have stories to tell. People want to hear stories. People want to be engaged. Social justice is a big part, is going to become a big part of the arts. And we're the ones we're the ones to tell those stories.
We have our holiday show coming up on December 11th to 12th. Happy to give you tickets if you want to come see it. We're primarily in Fairfield, but mostly everybody watching the show, we just want you to be better prepared for our industry before you step out of your own little corner. So tune in next time for more trends and tips on Kristin's Corner.
Thank you.
Thank you.